Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It is Monday. It's going to be a big week here on This Week in Startups. We're going to start off today with more layoff news. The mighty Amazon. So now we have Facebook/Meta and Amazon, of the big 4 or 5 tech companies, have both laid off over 10,000. News today that Amazon's laying off 10,000 in the white collar suite, not the factory workers, not the delivery, not the blue collar side, the white collar side. Big news. 10,000 employees.
Big news. And then we're going to talk about the latest updates because we cannot help ourselves on the FTX saga. There's kind of an interesting report today about the state of mobile gaming and the decline in advertising hitting that previously untouchable space. That's fascinating. And what it means for, investors who may have gotten into that space back in the day.
And since it's This Week in Startups and we try to keep at least 50% of the content startup related, even if these big companies blowing up and laying people off and everything, we're going to end the show with a We Live in the Future augmented reality segment. Very cool. And a very cool startup of the day in the MedSpa space. MedSpa, new acronym, new word.
We'll just call it Fixing Your Face. The Fixing Your Face
startup. Yeah. All right. It's going to be a great show.
Stick with us.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. A business is only as strong as its people, and every hire matters. Post your first job for free at linkedin.com/twist. Policygenius. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quote and see how much you could save. Fitbod. Tired of doing the same workouts at the gym? Fitbod will build you personalized workouts to help you progress with every set. Get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/twist.
Hey, Molly. Happy Monday. How was your weekend?
What's up? It was good. Went roller skating like a hipster.
I think I did see that on your private social. Say where, but so not rollerblading, skating.
Skating, 4 wheels and everything. They'll light up. There's a really cute pop-up rink right now, right by City Hall in San Francisco. You should take the girls. It's so fun. You reserve just like a 90-minute slot. They got the disco lights and they're, and you get skates are included with your like $15 ticket, and the skates have light up wheels. It's actually really
outdoor,
shockingly fun. It's outdoor. It's like under a tent.
And are they playing like fun music and like 70s music or something?
Yeah.
Sometimes
like
I watch these.
It's freaking delightful.
I watch these like old men who like were into skating in the 70s. So you get like these 5 or 6 guys doing like, they're kind of going in the circle, but their feet are in sync. So you got 5 old dudes dancing in sync on TikTok. I don't know how, how TikTok like figures something you like. And then TikTok realizes I'm going to be an old man soon, but I'm like the old man who won't age.
Who will be roller skating.
Who will be roller skating. But, this used to be, people forget, Molly, a thing in the 70s and 80s to do when you were looking for something to do before video games were big. They were just starting. And there was, you had movies, but there were only 2 or 3 new movies out at a time. And if you saw them all, you'd be like, hey, what are we going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? And roller skating was a bona fide activity. So in Brooklyn, we had multiple roller skating halls. They were giant. Bowling was the thing to do. And people enjoyed life a little bit more because they were out doing fun activities, correct?
Oh, absolutely. We used to go to the roller rink on the regular every weekend. And you could always tell like who was dating because they'd be skating and holding hands. And then you got like all your social points came from could you skate backwards or not, which was, I should say, the only time I fell down on Saturday was trying to skate backwards.
You tried
and I was like, I haven't done this in 30 plus years. I'm just going to go for it.
Sweet. I used to be able to ski backwards.
If you don't fall down, you're not trying,
I used to be able to ski backwards, and I was almost tempted to do it last year, but there's snow in Tahoe. They opened the ski mountains a week early. Of course, I'm going to have to sacrifice the first month of ski season, I think, just to work on, special projects, as it were. But let's get back to work here. I noticed Amazon, the mighty Amazon, sitting on tons of cash, was in the news for a 10,000 executive layoff. This is after Facebook's 11,000 last week. And the week before, you had Twitter, Stripe. Can't remember all the ones. That week there were 6.
It was like everything. It was everything.
So let's go through this because 10,000 seems like a very low number considering how many people they have. And I'm not sure if this is warehouse workers or executives with a company like Amazon. it's a little more nuanced. I doubt they're getting rid of warehouse workers.
They're definitely not getting rid of, exactly.
Right.
No drivers, no warehouse workers 2 months before Christmas or a month and a half or whatever, right before the holidays start. The layoffs could start as soon as this week and would focus specifically on corporate employees in the devices organization. So Kindle, Alexa, Fire Stick, the retail division, and human resources. That would represent about 3% of its corporate employees. Amazon has 330,000 corporate employees, has 1.6 million total global employees when you include the delivery drivers and the warehouse workers.
3% is the smallest RIF reduction in force that we've seen. It's almost not even worth announcing. A 3% RIF could be accomplished with a performance-based review and cutting the bottom 5%. It was Jack Welch who said cut the bottom 5% every year. Some people buy into that management philosophy of, cutting the bottom 5, or actually in this case, I believe it was 10, and then just hiring another 10%. So this is odd. It's a signal to the market, but it's not enough to make any kind of impact on their earnings, I would say.
I feel like it isn't even a signal to the market. It feels to me like it's just sort of an opportunistic reorg, more than anything else, because Amazon, we did their Q3 earnings, which were fine. We did not get any sense, I don't think, from those earnings that there was a concern. Like AWS revenue, the big profit center, was up 27% year over year, up about a 4% quarter over quarter. That was a slight miss in expectations, but its revenue grew 40%. Yep. Its operating income was $5.4 billion. Now, to be fair, all other Amazon segments lost money other than AWS, which is why I actually think this is an opportunistic reorg that's all about what kind of we've been thinking that Andy Jassy was going to do all along, which is focus on AWS. That makes all the money.
It feels to me like this is the start of austerity measures at Amazon. Remember, I said these things are like a contagion. I said this maybe in the first quarter when they started. And at some point, you're looking around saying, we're the only ones who haven't taken any action. We haven't battened down the hatches. And Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, said, hey, it's time to batten down the hatches. He has said that exact statement. So this is the start of battening down the hatches. What does it mean? You can always hire people back is the common management philosophy. So in a down market. In an up market, people had the philosophy. I was talking to a very high profile founder yesterday, and they said, management teams are now going from, we can't afford to lose this person, to, well, we need to make dollars today as opposed to dollars tomorrow. So if we need them, and it turns out we made a mistake, or if we need them, I'm not talking about Twitter, by the way, I'm talking about another company, we will hire them back. And so this is a very small amount. I would suspect they're going to do this 2 more times to get up to 10% maybe. And this also is, not enough to have a dramatic impact on the overall economy. So despite how hard this is, Molly, for the people impacted, this might be peak compensation for them for the next, couple of years. I would suspect it will be. So people who are getting laid off right now, I do think instead of what happened the last, 10 years, you could always expect to make 10% more at your next job, 20% more. Now it's going to be the opposite. You should probably expect to make 10% less, 20% less and so that's hard for people. People are going to have to rebalance their balance sheets if they had high spending, private schools, mortgages, vacations planned, 401k contributions, all that stuff, just like companies are. So this is how the economy reorganizes in real time, all caused by the Fed raising rates and everybody being focused on the dollar that you can make today, which comes 2 ways.
Yes.
Cut spending or make more. And so austerity measures hitting all aspects of the economy. Can you think of an area where austerity measures haven't kicked in yet, Molly?
Oh, oil and gas is having a party. I do want to go back to actually a prediction that I made around Amazon, which is that I said if things do get particularly tight, because again, Jassy is all about AWS. That is what's making the money. Everything else is sort of like, you could see why you would start with the Kindle Fire, or the little Alexa devices that plug into TVs that just are not necessary. One of the things I said was, if things do get really tight at Amazon, expect Andy Jassy to cut a bunch of those big Bezos Hollywood projects, the $1 billion shows on Amazon Prime. So I feel like if that company really moves into true austerity, then that's where we'll see it. But I don't think any industry is contracting as hard as tech right now.
Yeah, crypto has collapsed. Tech is tightened. If you put those in the same bucket, I do not, because they act so differently. Those two, I think real estate is happening as we speak.
Real estate's happening. That's true.
Real estate's happening. Wall Street and finance is happening.
Redfin
austerity
had a bunch of
measures
layoffs.
there. Yeah. And then I understand from my friend in Hollywood, he said the last 6 months, every single streamer is on pause. And so they were pitching something and they said, don't even bother pitching us. We have to digest what we have. So to your prediction, my friend who's a director in Hollywood, and I was at a party and he had a bunch of his friends there, they were all lamenting, oh, no more cash coming in. So almost like startups, they operate, like, hey, I got a script. You want to option it? Hey, I got a project. You want to develop it? All of those checks have now stopped. So they're looking at, well, what checks did I get in the last 2 years? I got to make those payments coming to me, last. And so this is how an overheated market unwinds. Government seems to be a place where we don't see any austerity measures happening yet. I haven't heard of any cuts in government agencies or pay cuts or, belt tightening. And so we'll see if that happens next. That would be an interesting one. I always said when these last 4 or 5 big companies do their layoffs, that's when we know that's like right before the bottom. And so here we are, Facebook, Amazon, and now we wait. Google and Apple. Apple hiring freeze, Google, I think hiring freeze. Let's see if they make actual RIFs. I suspect what we'll see before the end of the year is Google do a full-on RIF. And I don't think Apple has the guts to do it. I think they have too much cash. They're too profitable. So I think what they'll do is performance-based, as we call them, gentlemen's layoffs. Too proud to actually make a cut. So they just cut people based on performance or not coming back to us.
Or they just don't need to. I mean, that's what's so interesting about this, right? It's like there's contagion and then there's it's totally fine to say when things are tough, you look at the business, the parts of your business that are not that necessary. And you might be like, it's just not like devices has never been our core competency. Maybe it hasn't taken off like we thought. People aren't using their Echo for anything but weather and timers.
Not profitable too, right?
And not profitable. It's a race to the bottom.
People, they might be selling a ton, but I don't know what profits there is in selling Echoes.
But other than that car project, is Apple doing a single thing that's not profitable?
No, they're super profitable.
So why cut? I'm sort of just if you don't have, there's the peer pressure factor.
That's the contagion part. And that Wall Street expects it. So I guess the question would be, if the stock is not rising, then that would be the reason to cut. So I think Amazon stock has been getting clobbered. And this will be an effort to make the stock rebound, to show Wall Street, hey, we take austerity measures in the bottom line, because the bottom line is contracting a bit. So if growth is slow, but I think everybody's now scared of this double dip recession, because we did have 2.6% growth in the third quarter. I think everybody expects negative growth the next 2 quarters. I just don't understand how we're going to have a recession if there's 10 million job openings. I'll tell you a story, an anecdote, if I can, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
.com bust happened, and there was a really cool digital magazine about digital filmmaking in the 90s, and some blogs in this company, in my friend's company, and there was somebody who was like the art director, and I was going out with my then fiance, now wife, mother of my 3 beautiful daughters, and we went out for Thai food. And the server comes up, and I look up, and I say, hey, I'm going to just make up a name here, Jane. She looks at me, and it's the art director from this company.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at me, and she said, oh, Jason, Jade, how are you doing? I'm so ashamed that you're seeing me as a server. I lost my job at this, .com. And I looked at her, I said, I was a waiter from the age of 10 years old to 22 when I started the magazine. Nothing to be ashamed about. Being a server is good work if you can get it. And she got cheered up. I just stood up and gave her a hug. And that's the humanity that's happening right now. I think there's going to be a lot of people. I wonder if that's what's going to happen right now. That's what I can't figure out. If there's 10 million jobs, Molly,
mm-hmm.
Are people going to have jobs? Or are they going to take 6 months off and do little staycations with their 6-month severance? Or they make the 6-month severance last for 2 years by, making austerity cuts as an individual. So
yeah.
Right now, every potential new hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. Your runway might be a little tighter right now, right? And fundraising, certainly that's a little bit harder. So you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the most qualified candidates available. That's why you have to use LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Then you add your job to LinkedIn and you get that purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile. That spreads the word that you're hiring, so your network sees the purple ring. What a great innovation over at LinkedIn Jobs. We love all the easy-to-use tools that LinkedIn gives us. That's where we do our hiring, like screening questions. Screening questions, they filter out the non-serious candidate, and it's really that simple. LinkedIn is where the most qualified people are, and that's where you're going to find your next great hire, just like I do. And so go find amazing, talented candidates today, and you'll understand immediately when you get to LinkedIn Jobs why they are rated number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free. That's right, for free. LinkedIn.com/twist. That's LinkedIn.com/twist to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply because they're giving you something for free. It's very hard to understand this recession. I would
really
be lying
is.
if I
agree.
said I did.
I think everybody who says they do is lying because it is not following normal patterns at all. I think we can say without question that once you have layoffs in just tech, numbering in well into the tens of thousands, right? Like we're close to 50,000 total layoffs. That the idea
that's in the last 2 weeks. It's got to be hundreds of thousands. It's got to be over 100. Yeah, hundreds of thousands since the beginning of the year, I would say. Yeah.
Exactly. And so there's so all talk of you're all going to be fine, soft landing for everybody. That's out the window. Like that's not going to be the case. So we are going to see a real disruption and dispersion, kind of, similar to the dot-com crash to 2008. Like the tech industry had a bit of a lost.
Yeah.
And not even the industry,
4 years.
the individuals, right? Like people had a bit of I feel like I had a bit of a lost decade where my salary was kind of stagnant for 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And I suspect that something similar is likely to happen.
The good news is, it's not like there's any inflation. Oh, wait.
Right.
Oh, wait. Your salary is
super
sideways for 5 years as inflation is,
and
whatever it winds up being, Yeah. You're spending more at the pump and spending more on whatever.
It's hard not to see. I mean, you are definitely going to see a lot more. Like there's been, class-based rage. And I think that's only going to continue because you're going to see companies that were profligate, that just, overhired, that were undisciplined, that threw money at things. And then all of these tens of thousands of employees end up being the sacrifice. And then you have like Bezos out here saying today,
he's going to give away
my $127 billion to charity. I'm not going to say how, and I have no history of doing this so far, and I didn't sign the giving pledge, but I'm definitely going to. And it's not even a reasonable comparison between his fortune exactly and layoffs at Amazon because you're not even in charge, but just expect so much more of that.
The optics, certainly today, I saw somebody tweeted like the 2 screenshots. It might have been Ian Bremmer.
Like everybody did.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, same day, this happening. And, obviously those are 2 separate events and one of them is laudable and one of them is necessary. But certainly optics wise, it's like, oh, well, why don't you just not fire those people and be a little less profitable? But if the stock crashes, obviously that's not good for anybody who's at those companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, austerity is going to be...
expect that. I'm not even cheering for it. I'm just saying expect a lot more of that. Because people will feel resentful.
Yeah. If, in fact, they don't land on their feet, and don't find a job. Because, it's so weird to have a recession where we're not having... When all these jobs are available and, people are still spending money. I was talking to another person who is in a delivery business and they said in the United States, people are still doing, delivery of food. In Europe, it's slowed down a little bit. They said people are now maybe picking up their food, cooking at home. So expect that as well. You might see people who are delivery businesses. People will just maybe, I'm going to do one less DoorDash, one less, Uber Eats, one less Postmates per week or month, right? So it's all happening. It is. As it were. It's all happening.
I was looking up the year-to-date stock price charts of Apple and Amazon to see if I could use them to make a bit of a prediction on Apple in particular. Because you do see this dip and spike model that isn't too different. Like if you were to look at this chart and compare it to Amazon year-to-date, Amazon maybe has a little bit more of a steady decline, but it's not that different. So if stock price alone is the reason, but that doesn't, I don't know.
Well, this is going to get, as I had said about my Facebook prediction, that they'll start buying back their own stock at these low prices.
Mm-hmm.
That's also going to put an interesting rub in here. Hey, you're laying people off, austerity measures, buying back your stock at low prices. But the good news is, if that all is happening, what that means is the companies will become stronger. Then they'll hit more earnings and profitability. And then we will change the mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. And so this is just for people who are going through it the first time. This is how it goes. People get really scared. People then clench up. They cut spending. They try to understand their spending. They look at all units. I did this recently. I just told them, hey, tell me every SaaS piece of software we're working on. Tell me every reoccurring charge on our credit cards. Let's see if we can clean some of that up. Yeah. So in a time like this, that's what business owners do. And I've seen it in some SaaS companies. Some SaaS companies that had low product market fit with some of their customers had people churn. And so, you're going to see SaaS businesses churn. You'll see people cancel consumer subscriptions, 10, 20%. And so now you have that headwind. Plus you have to work harder to get each sale. Each sale might be lower dollar amount. So it's just going to be work. And this is the process. The good news is all of these people will start companies. And that's another way that after the fire rips through, you have the new seedlings, right? So you have this crazy forest fire. It's part of nature, clearing out the brush. And then all of a sudden, new oaks, new evergreens, new redwoods will start growing. And starting tonight, November 14th, I am teaching Founder University week 1. And I was in there and I, despite all this like negativity out there, Molly, I spent a couple hours last night. Instead of binge watching TV, I just decided I would, just do a little chat room with some of the founders for Founder University. And we're using a cool piece of software called Circle. It's like it's kind of like Slack plus Notion. And I'm evaluating all the software, but it's kind of neat. Like I wish Notion and Coda had chat rooms in it. But the idea of having like a chat room associated with a page is going to be coming. So that is something I'm really interested in. And I was just talking to founders, and it's just great to see people who are working at other companies quitting and starting companies, or at night moonlighting and learning how to start startups. That is the viable option. Instead of sitting around, which are, sitting on your hands, why not put those hands to work? If you do get laid off, find 2 of your friends. If you're builders, if you're just idea people, you probably want to learn a skill beyond ideas. Those are the first people to get cut, the marketers, HR people. Like if you could actually build a product, I'm talking about just if you want to do a startup, right? I'm not saying those aren't skills, but to actually be able to build a product is like the ultimate skill.
Like to invest in builders. There are plenty of people who are able to start startups and outsource their dev. And, there are a lot of idea people who can run great businesses who don't necessarily have to know how to code.
They don't.
I'm going to push back on that one a little bit and look, we have our preference for a reason, but also like the Liquid Death guy is a brand ninja.
Right. So it can happen, especially for serial founders. And in a hot market, investors will, back idea people. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is, even if you learn no code or growth hacking, specifically those 2 skills, or product management, being able to build designs in Figma, those 3 you can learn. Developing is not for everybody, but those other 3, growth, product management, and making Figma designs, if you do those 3, UX, you can learn those in 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Totally. And if you do those, it'll signal to investors, angels, that you'll have product velocity without product spend. And that's what's attractive. So I'm not saying those people.
Yeah, to be fair, you shouldn't just sit there being like, I have a super idea like a queen or whatever, and then like,
there's
someone go do it. There's something in between.
There's something in between the 2 statements here. I'm trying to.
We're not saying that you have to. If you don't know how to, if you don't know how to like literally build your product from scratch and be in the code, don't even bother, because that's, I think, not quite what we're about.
The thing that has happened that I notice is for the part of This Week in Startups is, during a hot market, you could have 3 idea people start a company, raise $1 million or $2 million, and you're like, okay, yeah, one's, all 3, none of them are actually building the product or product expertise. And the market might allow that. Then when the market contracts like this and people really clench up and they're going to invest in 1 startup every quarter instead of 1 a month, the one they'll pick will be the one with the builder founders, and the 2 they'll pass on will be the one with the idea people. So I'm not saying to journalists, learn to code and trolling them, but learn to code. No, I mean, copywriting is a valid skill. I'm a copywriter myself. But yeah, I also like to mix it up. So just learn those skills if you can. And your chances of, or find two people to be your co-founder. That's the other thing. Is the solo co-founder also is going to become less attractive in this market. Having three co-founders, two of which are builders, one of which is an idea person, right? Could be a better mix. So anyway, just a tip for you. Listen, life insurance, very important. And getting it will create massive peace of mind for you, your loved ones. Hey, and when you're a founder or a startup employee, peace of mind can be hard to come by. So check out Policygenius. It was built to modernize the life insurance industry. It's an insurance marketplace that makes it easy to compare quotes from top companies like AIG and Prudential. And you can do that in just a few clicks. It's really easy to use, and it's going to help you find the lowest prices. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $17 per month for $500,000 of coverage. And Policygenius has licensed agents who can help you find options that offer coverage in as little as a week. And this helps avoid unnecessary medical exams. And these agents work for you, not the insurance companies. Plus, Policygenius doesn't add on extra fees, and they won't sell your data to third parties. So here's your call to action. Very simple. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com. Well done.
Another tip, in case you don't already know, is don't fall for giant crypto hustles. We're just going to do
a fraudster.
Don't be a fraudster.
Don't unpack it.
Don't steal your customers' money. We just keep coming back to this over and over and over. We're going to go back in a minute to a story about consumer spending, but we just have to check in a little bit on everybody's favorite miniseries, docudrama, if you will. What is happening with FTX today, The Young and the Bankrupt? Let's see. Over the weekend, over the past 40 hours, several other exchanges experienced, I think BlockFi maybe just went under because there was a bank run. Crypto.com experienced a run as everybody was trying to sell and cash out. Oh yeah. I
wasn't aware of that. Yeah.
Some other small exchange was we're not sure we're going to survive the pressure because, people are selling. They're just launching these runs everywhere. Binance started coming to the rescue, Sam Bankman-Fried style.
Okay.
And then as for everybody's favorite little microdosing polyamorous weirdo, he
if you're poly, more power to you.
Fine. Totally fine.
All cool. And if you're microdosing with a therapist, maybe okay. But the speed thing was the thing I got concerned about. Did you see that?
Yeah. That he was just doing speed constantly.
But he was also telling his team to do speed. Is that the rumor now?
Exactly.
He was doing
living in a
seminars on
Bahamas
speed?
penthouse and they were all sleeping together. And I'm sorry, that's salacious. But do you really expect me to walk on by?
No,
it's not a marker for fraud, but it's salacious as hell when you're putting together your movie script.
And probably not the best way to run a corporation. So if you are living in a commune, hippie, whatever, that's cool. But maybe not start a company in that because that kind of gets crazy.
For example, when we are talking with founders and we meet married couple founders.
Yes.
Right? Disclose. It's not a huge red flag. But definitely disclose it. And it's a notable...
It's something to have a discussion about.
Thing, right? What happens if you break up? Do you have a plan?
Do you have a plan?
For what happens to this company in a divorce kind of thing? So if you got 10 of them...
Yeah, that's a bit of a matrix, is it not? Hey, HR, we have to disclose something. A and B, B and C and D, D and A and F, F, A, B, C, D, E. It's what? It's okay.
I learned this phrase actually from Ed Zitron as this has been unfolding, which is polycule, which is a romantic...
like a molecule?
A molecule, but it's a polycule. And it is considered to be a romantic network or subset of relationships within a romantic network. And he just keeps tweeting constantly about his obsession with the polycule situation. Anyway.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just so old school, man.
And then somebody was tracking a jet and trying to figure out if he had fled to Argentina. And then he showed up in an esports tournament. And then
that was the one I saw. Yeah, this is getting crazy.
This morning, right, is when the tweets began.
The tweets is the thing that is a cry for help. And I'm going to be a little bit more serious because if you were writing this if Mike Judge was writing this as like the comeback season of Silicon Valley, it would be so unbelievable. People would tune out after the first episode, right? It's just too crazy.
Yes.
As crazy as Silicon Valley was, it looks completely realistic compared to what's happening.
You wish you had thought of this storyline.
Exactly.
But yes, now we are reaching the point of concern about the health of this young man.
Yeah. So if you're on speed, just knowing the history of speed, Edie Sedgwick in Andy Warhol's factory, the Nazis were on speed and amphetamines. You can look that up. I watched a documentary on that. Speed is like one of the worst possible drugs. Now we have speed being given to people, kids, adults. It's been getting prescribed at and no judgments here for people who are been prescribed, whatever, Adderall, whatever thing. But there is a serious amount of abuse that can occur here. These are serious drugs, speed. And in fact, part of the homeless, or I'm reticent to call it homeless problem, people experiencing homelessness as a result of drug abuse, as a result of mental illness, whatever combination tragically is happening there. Methamphetamine, people smoking meth, is the same thing. Honestly, it's all in the same rubric. Speed makes your mind go crazy. It makes you super aggro. It makes you do stupid. It also
makes you feel unbelievably confident. Like people,
yes.
Like what happens is that people take this and they feel like they took the limitless pill and
correct.
They're getting everything done and they're like crushing it and they're and the confidence goes through the roof. And I mean, they say that they come out of it later and look at the quality of work they did and are like, oh my God, that's terrible. But they think that that they can do no wrong. And, stop me if that sounds familiar in this story. Yeah,
I'm just going to put it out there. If you were a friend of mine and you told me, you were thinking of getting on any of these speed, even prescription stuff, God forbid, stuff that's illegal, I'd stop you, I'd sit you down, and I'd say, let's talk through this decision. This could be a very bad decision. And I have had a dozen friends who have been put on stimulants, and I think out of them now, I'm talking over decades, like since, I was in my 20s, I've had friends. I think maybe 9 out of 10 have told me it was the biggest mistake of their life. They regret it. They lost portions of their life to these drugs. And again, your mileage may vary, but when somebody starts tweeting out like acronyms or like what he's doing right now, this to me seems like a psychotic break. I don't think it's trolling. I think there's a good chance that this kid could kill himself, God forbid, or do something terrible that he regrets. Somebody needs to sit this kid down and check on him. If this is in fact him tweeting from his own account. I'm deadly serious here. People make really bad mistakes under pressure, like this level of pressure. So he started tweeting what? That was 15 hours ago at the taping. Then an H, then an A, then a P, then a P, then an E. So obviously he's going to type what happened or what's happening. This is like Kanye level disturbing behavior. And we see social media is the canvas for people who are under, severe mental distress. And somebody's got to come for this kid, and his parents need to go there and pick him up. I don't know where his parents are, but get on a plane and go pick up your son. I'm not joking. Like, this is serious stuff. Or maybe he's in jail and this is somebody else, or maybe he's been picked up already and this is somebody else. I don't know. What is your take on this, Molly?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's no question that at some point we had a very similar conversation about Do Kwon when he was on the run and tweeting, all kinds of bizarre things. Like it is a not unexpected response to having your entire empire come crashing down and potentially authorities coming for you, I guess, to kind of fall apart. I think we just have no idea. We just have no idea.
And I saw the penthouse.
It's a weird thing. Penthouse
for sale. Do you see that?
He put his penthouse up for sale.
$40 million penthouse. Looked terrible, but that did not look like $40 million. I wouldn't pay $4 million for that. It's gross.
Plus, it's been home to a polycule for however long. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think that it's really interesting, right? Because you see these tweets, which seem to represent somebody who's not okay. And then you see these very specific actions, like he put his penthouse up for sale.
Right.
Which is
logical.
Which is logical, which is in control of yourself. Like, I just am not 100%. You may be absolutely right about what the tweets represent. It could also be a giant troll if he's also putting his penthouse up for sale and he's showing up in esports tournaments. I don't really know. But I do know like a lot of people have lost a lot of money, and it appears that he was doing it, at least on some level, on purpose.
I mean, this is the equivalent of imagine Bernie Madoff or Elizabeth Holmes was like tweeting cryptic messages, and Bernie Madoff was putting his penthouse or his Hamptons home for sale, doing this all while people had their accounts frozen, had lost their life savings. I mean, we have to remember.
I'm not feeling like I'm not trying to be super cold here. Like, I know I'm usually the mom in the room.
Right.
But like, sure, go pick him up and get him some help or whatever. But none of what he did was the result of us. Like, he took a bunch of drugs and he stole his customers' money.
Allegedly.
And now he's on the run.
Allegedly.
Anyway,
we'll keep.
He tweeted about the drugs. That one's totally true. He actually just tweeted.
Yeah, he did tweet about it. Yeah,
a year ago or something.
It could be prescription drugs. It could be under a doctor's care.
I mean, a year ago he tweeted about how like you got to do it. He was like, "Oh yeah, you got to keep yourself in a constant buzz all the time, and then you take a downer for this, and then you take an upper." Yeah, I mean, like,
just this terrible advice.
This is here's some admission, the drugs part at least.
let me give people some advice here. What worked for me? I slept like a baby last night because I ran for like a mile and a half. I got my heart rate up, and then I did 3 sets of reps on my tonal. Shout out to Peloton and Tonal, not sponsors of the pod right now, but I did like a hardcore workout. I just said, hey, let me do like 1 or 2 more reps on each one. And my body went to bed like a baby. And I put on some, my Blade Runner. I have a Blade Runner playlist, like a Tears in the Rain playlist on YouTube, like 2-minute soundscape, these soundscapes. And I use those on calm.com and on my Blade Runner on YouTube. You find the one you like that works for you and just get some goddamn sleep, people. How about that? How about you drink a glass of water, you get some sleep, you work out, and then you go hang out with your friends. And I
hope you're sharing this advice liberally with your other friend.
All my friends get equal advice. Get some sleep. Always good. Drink some water.
Get some sleep.
Get some sleep, everybody. Okay, I've been on a health kick over the past year or so, and I care about optimization and data-driven solutions. So if you're listening to this podcast, I bet you do too, right? And so let me tell you about Fitbod. It is a data-driven workout app, and it blends machine learning with exercise science. So they will create for you, I kid you not, a custom dynamic program based on not only your fitness goals, but also your experience and what's the available equipment. You put in what you have available to you, and then it creates a custom workout for you. Again, using machine learning and exercise science. It's going to amaze you. And, it's going to vary the intensity and the volume between sessions. You can customize the length of your workout, what muscles you want to target, and so much more. So check out this demo. Let's say I want to get a 30-minute workout in. I want to hit my chest, triceps, and abs. But I'm staying at an Airbnb with no equipment. Fitbod creates a perfectly optimized workout for you based on these parameters, right? Very simple. Fitbod takes the guesswork out of fitness. Just open the app and start making progress. You're going to get 25% off your Fitbod subscription, or you can try the app out for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/twist. fitbod.me/twist for 25% off. One of the great companies in my portfolio, some of the greatest founders I've ever worked with. Go check out fitbod.me/twist for 25% off.
Let's talk a little bit more about an industry trend that seems to represent some consumer spending trends. So, mobile gaming?
Yeah,
juggernaut.
I know mobile gaming. Yeah.
Pretty big industry, like $90 billion a year. And for a while, it was just like, it could do no wrong. Like, you will just build mobile games forever and everybody will continue to make money and it will be amazing. But even the mobile gaming industry is now starting to see a slowdown, primarily because of the collapse of the digital ad market. So,
that makes sense. Yeah. The free versions of these games, sometimes my daughters like to play them. I give them a little iPad time. If I have like a little technique here, you probably didn't have to go through this, Molly, because your kid missed this. Did they? Did your kid miss?
I don't know. What's the strategy?
Oh, sorry. My strategy. They want to get the iPad time. So I said, okay, we're going to have an art contest. All 3 daughters, 1 hour of art. And I just come up with some idea. I would like you to make a painting or arts and craft project. And then I'm going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 based on my favorites. And the clock is ticking. I set the timer at an hour. And if you do that, you get an hour of screen time. They come back. The amount of art I have in my office here for my daughters is going through the roof. And they're so proud of themselves. And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed that when Dad rates these, the last 3 times, it was a 3-way tie of 10 out of 10 each time.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, because I am a connoisseur of art, and I'm like, oh my God, the composure, the color of this, 10 out of 10, and they just go crazy.
So adorable.
And they're like, Dad, it can't all be 10s out of 10s. Give us different ratings. I'm sorry, I'm being objective. As an art critic, these are 10s of 10s.
Exactly.
But this makes sense to me because I got them Apple Arcade. Speaking of Apple, and it's included in my Apple bundle. I have the Apple bundle. I got the family plan. They all have Apple Arcade. And if they want a game, I say, go to Apple Arcade. You know why? They take out all these stupid ads.
Right. And there's not like weird spyware and they're just aimed at children like there is on all the Android games. However, interestingly, we are seeing mobile gaming, which of course depends on the advertising industry. That industry, the advertising industry shrank 7% in the second quarter, according to data from Nielsen. All of the gaming companies, the whole industry has been hurting. Roblox is down 67% year over year. Take-Two, which owns Rockstar, which does Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K, is down 41% year over year. Unity is down 84.5% year over year. But it's this mobile gaming one that is just this kind of huge hit. Like Q2, mobile gaming revenue fell 9.6% year over year to $11 billion. Downloads fell 2.5%. And it's just this kind of perfect storm, I guess, of the ad industry collapse and maybe people like leaving the house.
Well, there's probably, people were probably, the reopening doesn't hurt year over year statistics. So you'd have to look back 2 years pre-pandemic in 2019. What were these companies doing? I'm sure their consumption is way up overall from that. But this is where subscription revenue versus advertising revenue can be a nice blend. So if you can blend the two, like the New York Times has done successfully, or now we see Netflix trying to do. Netflix had subscription, now they're trying to add ads. Other businesses had ads, and they try to add subscription. Having multiple at scale, having the dual revenue streams can, make the business a little more formidable. I tend to like the subscription businesses better. I wish these games were just more subscription based. And I just hate advertising in a video game specifically. I don't mind a nice classy ad for things that are targeted. I kind of like them. In fact, I find Google ads, sometimes when I do a search, if I'm searching for like a SaaS company, the Google ads to me are better than the organic results. Why? I know those people are seriously strong businesses who want me as a customer. And so I kind of I see it as a signal that they're trying to spend to get in front of me. Same thing if I'm, buying a car. Like I want to get rid of the minivan and I want to buy like a SUV. When I was doing searches, I was getting really like, okay, these are the dealerships that probably really want my business. I can probably close a deal quicker with them. So anyway, I consider it a bit of a signal. It's just tough to be in the mobile gaming industry. I know VCs are now starting to dabble in it, but it's a hit-based business. You really need the subscription-based ones in order to make this great.
Yeah, I had our producers pull. There was some interesting data from PitchBook from 2016 talking about the top investors in the space. And I just thought this was interesting, like as a historical look at what startups did. So in between 2010 and 2016, 514 mobile gaming companies got VC backing, including 7 that raised more than $100 million. And I totally want to go find out which ones those were. Even then, activity was waning. It was really like 2010, 2011 that all of that money was going in. But it made me wonder, as like a baby VC Sunday school situation, if a bunch of money went in 2011, 12, 13, 2016, what does that mean for those funds if these mobile games and companies are collapsing now? Probably most of them already got acquired or had some sort of exit, I would imagine, because there was so much consolidation.
The theme here was some of these really boomed in such a major way. And you could always tell by the number of ads. You remember Clash of Clans, that game, which was kind of Farmville. So you had Zynga, then you had Supercell. Zynga went public. Supercell got bought for $8 billion. You had the Angry Birds maker. So Angry Birds was the other one that did very well for a while. And so a lot of those companies got sold, right? Rovio. I'm not sure if Rovio got sold or not. But I do know Clash of Clans and Zynga, all had great exits. And so that's what happened. And and Roblox, of course, and Minecraft. So there is money to be made here. It happens in two ways. Either you have a hit, like League of Legends, like Minecraft, or you have sort of, or I should say you have a hit or you have a platform. Hit or platform. Minecraft and Unity, these things were platform plays. So was Roblox. And Zynga was a platform as well. Many games under one platform that they built out. And then some of them are just hit-based businesses. You know, you get like a League of Legends. I think it's a hit-based thing. So it can work for VCs. It's a hard business. Most VCs have shied away from it.
And I think
it's very capital intensive.
If you're one of those people we just talked about who's going to go found a business or found a startup, make it subscription-based. Probably do not come to anybody with an ad-based business right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it as a backup. I agree with you. I go subscription. I think the really clever thing is the Wordles of the world. Those kind of like very simple to make games, where that are not capital intensive. When you're trying to make these tier 1 games, I think they call them, the Call of Duties. You're talking about spending hundreds of millions, high tens of millions. So when you start getting $50 million in order to find out if consumers like the product, that's super dangerous for VCs. But if you can build a game, like a puzzle game or a Clash of Clans or a, what's the one that everybody is addicted to that's like little puzzles? I forgot the name of it. Like your aunt plays it and they can't get enough of it. No, it's like that, but it's like, they have like cut the string kind of games. It's like this.
Oh, yeah. I see those all the time. The ads for them. There's like like Bejeweled. Yeah. Your aunt plays Bejeweled. I see them I used to see those ads in Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. That's it. Those kind of games are not too expensive. Back in the day, Marissa Mayer and I used to, of Yahoo Google fame, we used to play Bejeweled, and since we were friends, we would like be on leaderboards, and we would like, when we'd see each other, we'd talk about our Bejeweled strategies. Like it was like Auntie Marissa Mayer. And I was like Auntie J Cal. It was cute. But I think a lot of that, Candy Crush is the one I'm thinking of. Those kind of ones are good.
Candy Crush. Interestingly, I would have wondered if it was, I would have thought it was like Flush with Cash, because recently Candy Crush like blanketed the skies of New York with a big drone ad for Candy Crush. In fact, a guy I know was like furious about it. And he was like, hello, FAA. Like you shouldn't be, you should not be allowing people to just pollute the skies with this giant billboard or whatever. But maybe it's because their revenue is declining. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, everybody keep playing Candy Crush. I played a lot during the pandemic and then stopped because
this stuff's mad addicting. I had a threes addiction that I've been dealing with. Yeah, I know Sam Bankman-Fried has been, dealing with his speed addiction. I've been dealing with my threes addiction. I love those like speed and threes games, and I play it with my daughters too, because it's like a math alleged. We play this math. It's self-admitted. I don't know. You know what I love as a segment that we do here? We live in the future. WLITF.com. Which will become its own series at some point. We Live in the Future is going to become its own show. I'm going to get a streamer to buy this, Molly. But
love it.
We do it here as a segment. WLITF. We Live in the Future. This is where we talk about a product or service that seems like science fiction, but has actually become reality thanks to entrepreneurs and startups. What do we got today?
Yeah, love this one. So we talk a lot on the show about how like VR is super cool, but kind of niche. And you really have to have a reason to put the glasses on. And then we often say, and so do many, many others, that AR is the platform of the future. And on the theory that the future is here, let's look at this Shopify project. There have been lots of people attempting to nail augmented reality shopping. And this demo from Shopify, which is building a reverse AR shopping experience, might have finally nailed it. So they basically create rooms around
very nice.
The furniture. So it's like, oh, here's a couch, but here's what the whole room would look like.
Got it.
Built around the couch.
Yeah. So this is great. You can do this with your phone. You don't need glasses. You take your phone out. You've seen this before, and it places a sofa in your room. But what this is doing is it's not just placing the sofa. It then says, hey, if you're doing the sofa, you might want to do the rug, a side table, and whatever. So yeah, these are great.
Shows you how to style it, right? Which like currently I think you actually pay designers for, which is kind of awesome.
There were, actually speaking of this, there were a number of virtual, what do they call the people who style your home?
Oh, here we go. Called? So
what's a person who
style your home? A designer.
Interior designer.
Interior designer, yeah. I see. So like they just showed this couch literally just in a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
and then built an entire room all around it. And you can move it around. You can like imagine how you would decorate around it. Wow. I know a couple interior designers are going to be upset about this actually, because they do charge for this.
They do. But I think what it will do is they'll just move to like, you use this yourself and then you come to us and we finish it up for you. So it's sort of like what I think is happening with AI. You might work on your logo or your album art for your podcast using DALL-E or one of these services. And then you'll say, hey, here's what I want it to be. Can you finish this for me? Right. So I think what's going to happen is you'll say, hey, this is what I think looks good. And then you'll go to your interior decorator. And instead of them spending 25 hours on your living room, they'll spend 5. Instead of charging you 25 times whatever they get paid, I don't know, $50 an hour, $100 an hour. But there are now virtual ones of this where you just take pictures of your space and then they will, do it for you.
So that's so that was the missing piece. I didn't totally understand what the goal of this was. And now thank you for the notes. The concept here is that you scan your own home.
Yeah.
And then that information about the scan of your home is stored like in your glasses. And then when you're in the store, and you look at the couch, you would just tap your glasses or activate this shopping app. And then you would literally see your own home in these glasses being rendered all around this couch. So you would actually see what it
too.
Yeah. So the opposite of how you go online now and you like upload a picture of your living room and then you see what the Wayfair rug looks like This is like you shop in the real world with glasses on that have a stored image of your home. That is cool. That is the future.
Yeah, the 2 startups in this space, I think, are Havenly's one, Moodsy, Modsy is the other. There's a number of these where you take pictures of your home and then they will design it and send it to you. So I don't know how much they charge, but it wasn't absurdly expensive. I've never used it. I tried to get my wife to use it because I wanted to save money. She wasn't having it. But yeah, you can have virtual consultations. And I think like if you're in your 20s or 30s and you've got your first apartment or something, they can do this.
This is pretty cool. The reverse thing is really the idea of being able to do this out in the world, I think is what is so compelling. Is like you're at a store, you have your presumably low profile AR glasses and you're just like, oh, boop, boop, boop. Yeah. That's smart. It's super smart for like physical retail. Good times. We do not know, by the way, if this has launched yet. I don't think that glasses exist at the size and
I think you're doing this through your iPad or phone. But you hold up your iPad or phone and you see a rendered picture. Eventually, those will be through glasses that are lightweight. And I am getting increasing signals from my network. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that, which, if you talk to a lot of startups, you're going to have a pretty good inside information. Mm-hmm. And I don't have this as inside information. I'm not making a J trade on it, but I might want more Apple stock. Apple's product is kick-ass. And what's coming out next year is going to blow people's brains. That's what somebody told me. And I've had multiple people tell me like imminent, like it's coming.
Yeah.
And we've had people on the show say it, but now I'm getting it from startups and people in the tech community, which means the last time this happened with the watch and the iPad,
right,
and other
it's
products,
making its way to developers, and they're starting to actually
the developers are the leaky buckets. So the developers tend to get access to this stuff first. So if you're Apple, you look at the top 10 apps, and you might say to one of the top 10 app builders, hey, we have a watch coming. You can be sure if Strava's the number 1 app for sports and fitness, I don't know if it is or not, Apple then goes to them, brings them to a room. They only bring 2 people. They sign their life away and they let them start coding in a room at Apple's headquarters is how I was told this happens. And boom, you start revving on some specs and they start telling you, hey, here's some sizes for a device that we have not announced yet. And you're like, well, that device is like the size of 2 postage stamps. Like, where's this device going to live? And they're like, yeah, you can use your imagination. They kind of give you just enough information. So I think that's what's happening right now. And if you're a developer or a designer or somebody who's working on this kind of stuff, you can feel free to talk to Uncle Jaco and give me some information. And, I might be able to repay you at some point. with information or, a supportive tweet or something. I'm not saying that I would pay for leaked information. I would never do that. I'm just saying I'd love to have conversations with people about their vision for the future. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want you giving me, don't break any agreements you have.
No.
But I'd love to have a thoughtful decision about the We Live in the Future segment with people who want to whisper. Yeah, like a little whisper network. That's kind of how it goes down. Yeah. A little whisper network.
Not the kind you're thinking of from the Me Too days, but the other kind.
No. Please, no, I don't want that whisper network.
I think we have time for a quick startup of the day.
Please. There was a little complaining online. Hey, there's not enough startups in This Week in Startups. So we
That's
hear
just
you.
People who, if I'm being honest, don't want us to bash on crypto. But whatever, we hear you.
Whatever, we hear you.
Because
we want to include startups.
And we think it's fun. So
yes.
This is a super interesting startup of the day that, of course, Rachel Reporting found.
Oh.
UpKeep.
Yeah.
UpKeep is an app that lets users find, book, and pay for MedSpa treatments. MedSpa, I think, being this like middle ground between medical treatments and spa treatments, like things that just make you look and feel good. I'm talking about Botox and fillers.
Can we get a 2-for-1, me and you? Can we get a 2-for-1?
And facials.
I think we're kind of in the zone.
You can tell we're on Restream today because we're like, oh boy.
I think we're in the zone, Molly. Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 here. Can we expense this against advertising revenue?
Don't you think it should be a tax write-off?
Maybe.
Like,
feels like it should.
Yeah. Botox, fine. Like, come on. People.
I don't know. Messing with your face thing, but.
Well, so that's what's so interesting is that Rachel and I had this exact conversation. She was like, I am not sure how I feel about, like, morally about how promoting this app, because it's like to help you find and pay for Botox, fillers, facials, laser hair removal.
That's cool. Sure, that's fine.
One-stop shop for everything.
Okay.
The company raised $2 million in a seed round co-led by the Anthemis Female Innovators Lab Fund.
There you go.
And the 1517 fund.
Fun.
And it is true that for a long time, there have been a lot of like coupons and you could go to this place and whatever, but like, you don't really want to mess around with your Botox provider. It is nice to know that the person with the botulinum toxin in a needle knows what they're doing.
Yes, it should be. There's a couple of things you don't try to save money on. And one of them is sushi. And
also
another
haircuts,
one.
jeans.
Yeah, you're not trying to save money there.
Nope.
Yeah, and this is a place where you're not trying to save money. So this is not to save money. This isn't like Groupon. This is just to find providers.
Yep. And have like reputable places. It'll offer some suggestions to safe med spas. You can't, and again, like even Yelp reviews, Yelp, I find to also be hit or miss. Like I like the idea that there could be, and I don't know what kind of validation mechanism there is. But I'm curious, but it is like ClassPass kind of, or there's like a couple spa type subscriptions. This lets you do in-app booking, so that you don't have to call to make an appointment. And then Rachel had this fundamental question, like, is it better for society to just have this all aggregated in one place? And I'm like, yeah, people are good. Like people want to mess with their faces and people want to make themselves look younger. So at least give them a nice place to find it all in one safe location.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, listen, no judgments. If it makes people feel better about themselves and it's not dangerous, I guess I'm okay with it on the margins. People want to be more attractive, I guess, or it makes them more confident. I'm okay with plastic surgery. I haven't had it, but maybe I need to. I don't know. I just like losing weight. I just think as a guy, like my face, like I just want to go Harrison Ford style. I kind of feel like if you get I had to have like a little lymphoma removed on my arm, and like they had a plastic surgeon do it, and it's just like a little growth, and it's just like a little, and it wasn't cancer or anything, so it's great.
Oh, okay.
But like they were like, oh, you have to see a plastic surgeon so that you don't have like a little tiny scar. I'm like, well, what are we talking about? It's like 2 stitches. Who cares? And they're like, well, you have like a little line there, and I'm like, why would I care? Like if I was Harrison Ford, it would look good. But the imagery on the UpKeep website is pretty funny. Like, look at this woman with the red hair. Like, look at that picture. What's going on there?
God, getting a filler right in your face. No.
And she's just like really thrilled. She's looking at me like she's dead inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody with a bunch of bejeweled hand is getting a green injection into her lips. This looks like some crazy horror film. I'm not sure about the art direction.
That's messed up. Okay, that's messed up. That is like some sort of insane, terrifying. She looks like a real doll.
It's like a Blumhouse movie or something.
I don't like this. Pull up if you would not mind. My absolute favorite influencer, Julia Fox.
Oh God!
On this very topic today.
Uncut jabs. Uncut jabs.
Uncut jabs.
We're
gonna need sound. We got to hear this because it's amazing.
Habis views. I did see this. This was trending.
This is outstanding, and I just feel like it's a good time to drop this in. On the topic
this is her
of
also
upkeep.
with no makeup, looking like a normal human.
Mm-hmm. Except everybody's doing the bleached eyebrows right now, which are.
Just so you guys know, aging is fully in. Like, fully. Dirty girl, ugly, not wearing clothes that fit your body type, just wearing anything you want. All those things are in. And if I see another product that says anti-aging on the label, I'm suing. I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue because I'm going to age regardless of if I put the $500 serum on my face, and you all know it and we know it, so let's stop lying to ourselves. Getting old is hot, okay? It is sexy. It is probably the sexiest time in life, actually, because being pretty and hot in your 20s is the trenches, okay? And I'm not going back there.
Like, she's such a fascinating creature and a fount of both like nightmare and wisdom. And in this clip, she's like, aging is fully in. You could see her over and over.
That's my approach. I'm going Harrison Ford.
Exactly. So she was literally like, you guys, like, she's like, ugly is in. Wearing whatever the hell clothes you want that look ridiculous on you, in. Aging is in. And she's like, I'm not putting your $500 serum on my face because it's not going to be anti-aging. I'm still going to age. And I don't want to hear about it anymore. And like, F off, basically. And then she talks about, she's like, that whole like being young and pretty in her 20s thing. She's like, that is the trenches. And I'm not going back to the trenches. It's amazing. I love her.
Well, this is how guys think, by the way. This is just, I hate to admit that genders are different on this program. I'm going to get myself canceled, but this is how guys always thought. Except for some guys in LA that I was hanging out with, and I was like, I don't know if I can be friends with you guys because you're just a little too, when you have like when guys hang out, like when I moved to LA, all these guys were looking in the mirror all the time and like doing their hair. And it was very weird as a kid from Brooklyn to see guys like primping and all this stuff, like going to the bathroom. And there were guys, listen, again, no judgments, but like, I don't wear eye makeup. I
mean, I will tell you, tread carefully here because a whole new generation of people, the manscaped customer is like looking in the mirror. So they're trying to sell me I think mascara overall.
I'm not going to wear mascara.
Way bigger thing.
I draw the line. I'm not going to wear mascara. I'm saying this now, but maybe you never know. Maybe I'll mascara.
It'll look amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like
I like both. Exactly. I like both of these things. I like balancing UpKeep as the app with the reminder that other than devoting your whole entire life to how you look and bleaching your own eyebrows, like aging is fully in. You can be as ugly as you want.
This is how guys think.
Or not.
Here's what I think.
Do whatever you want.
You know what society likes? A weight loss story. Since I lost the weight, people like me a lot more. And people want to know how I did it. People want to give me a hug. I'm going to be on the Tim Ferriss podcast. I talk a little bit about weight loss in the Tim Ferriss podcast. So I reveal everything. But coming up. But I think if I keep losing weight, I add some muscle, I might be able to do a shirt off selfie next summer. And if I can do that, if I can get a Bezos Chamath shirt off, I'm going to be good. I
hadn't seen the Chamath selfie. Like, I just heard it referred to a lot of times. And then
you ran into it recently?
I did see it.
Whoa. Yeah. That was crushing for me. I was like, God damn, Chamath. He walks sideways and backwards on a treadmill. I've been with him when he does it. He seriously puts in the work. And you know what? Here's how I feel. Revenge body. He's going to put in the work. He can take his shirt off. I'm going to be, this is me next summer. I'm maybe 12 pounds. I'm like 8 to 12 pounds away from the shirt coming off. I mean, you can look up here. I'm just saying, like, I know that looks like the white whale, but like, there's some muscle coming out. I was like, I had my shirt up the other day. I was talking to my wife. I was like, am I getting close? She's like, you're getting close.
You're like, am I getting kind of ripped?
How close am I to shirt off?
Just don't forget the self-tanner is the thing. Like, you're an Irish guy.
I'm Irish guy.
It's the self-tanner is just to literally otherwise it won't show. It's like trying to take a picture of a black cat. You know, you never get the definition.
I gotta think it through, but like, I need to, if I can just maybe add 5 pounds to 6 pounds of muscle and lose 6 more pounds of fat, I am possibly at the right angle. It's not at all angles, but I could maybe get an angle and a lighting that could be the J. Cal shirt off selfie. We're within spitting distance now, folks.
Set. Put it on your calendars.
Put it on your calendar. I'll do it here. I'll do it here on this podcast. All right. I think that's enough show for today.
I think that's enough show for today.
Congratulations to UpKeep. I don't know about the art direction. Yeah, I mean, try it. That's the thing about art direction as a tip for founders.
Yeah.
I'm criticizing that art because it looks dystopian and crazy to me, but you never know. They could have done the right thing and tried 5 different versions of that imagery. And that one that's like shocking and crazy got the most click-throughs. Yeah. So that's what you need to understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Go out on that limb. Go out on that limb because Gen Z probably likes it better than us boomers. All right. That's enough. You know what, today? Great show. It was a real Monday.
And not all dystopian big tech news.
Exactly.
We got some startups in there.
Yes. Love
which is good. I like the UpKeep.
Back to basics.
I might want to find out. Maybe we need to take a meeting with UpKeep. I'm going to wet my beak on that one.
No, I have questions as well, because honestly, like, this is all of this is so huge right now. Whether you want it to be or not, it's also huge. I've done the Botox. I'm not ashamed.
Oh, you did Botox? You tried it?
Yeah. I've tried it like twice. And then I always forget to go back.
But let me ask you this. Did anybody notice it?
I don't think so.
Nobody noticed. Did anybody say, hey, you look great?
I mean, I got it like 9 months ago, so I worked here.
Oh, okay. I never noticed. Yeah.
I know, exactly. Nobody noticed. Because you get, here we call it Berkeley Botox. Like, they're like, these dermatologists are like, we do Berkeley Botox, where it's like light. Yeah. Not
did
that
you notice
crazy,
the difference?
shiny forehead. I definitely did, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, now I'm noticing it wearing off. I'm like, oh, okay, I can see the difference. But honestly, like, do what you want, people. Like,
my friend just got
I don't know. I want to look.
My friend has
age.
really big, my friend Brooke has been public about it on her Instagram. She, like the bags under my eyes that I have over years, she had those done and she looks great. I don't know what that's called, but
wow.
Yeah, they do something with like your eyes. If you get like old and you've got like bags under your eyes, like mine aren't that bad, but I guess you can get something done to get rid of the bags under your eyes. So she did that. So eye filler, is that what it is?
Under eye filler.
Okay, sure.
The only reason like that I had a hilarious moment with it was like me and my public radio producer, who's my same age, who was kind of a hippie, and then like real young sound engineer. And real young sound engineer was like, women, like, I don't understand why you get the Botox and you don't need, it's just like beauty standards and the male gaze and da-da-da-da-da. And literally like me and this other 40-something woman were just like, talk to us in like 25 years, sweetie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's just,
I'm here for it. I think people
reel it in the judging for just a minute.
I am totally fine with people. I think it's awesome that people are getting healthier. And as long as you don't become obsessed with the stuff, like if you're like,
exactly, that's my concern. Is I have one friend and I'm watching her face really change a lot on
that's when it gets
Instagram,
weird.
And I don't like that.
No, when you're that's the thing with the lips is the place I see.
Yeah, the fillers is yikes.
The lip is a little much. Like when I see people with the too much lip action going on, I'm like, is that? And Jade's like, yeah. My wife's like, yeah, that's injections into your lips.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess it gets. There's just a point where I think if you notice it, like when I get my haircut, I'm like, just cut it so nobody notices I got a haircut. That's what my instructions are, And then once in a while, I'm like, buzz it so I look like a cop, and like I go really short. But most of the time, I'm just like, just give like a little cleanup, and that's it. So I think a little cleanup is my philosophy. All right, happy Monday, everybody. Good luck in your Botox. Anybody who's tuning in, And just use the promo code TWIST to get an extra 10% on your Botox. Get the Berkeley Botox. Use the promo code Molly. But you look great.
It's coming.
I mean,
it's coming. Thank you. Yeah. You know,
all right.
I'm pretty happy with my face overall, but it doesn't mean you can't like a little bit here.
Well, I mean,
a little
also
bit there.
we're on air. I mean, that's another thing to think about is, there's like a,
you know what it was?
There's any pressure here,
Zoom.
but
Zoom made me just hate my own face. And I think I bet that's partly why UpKeep is like really popular right now is everybody was staring at their own face
on
for
Zoom.
way too long.
Okay, everybody. Thanks to all of our, thanks to all the noties, everybody who watched live. If you want to watch live, go to youtube.com/thisweekin and hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell. 206,000 of you subscribed. And we get, 300, 400, 500 people tune in live. We try to do it around 10 a.m. every day, depending on when we get to our desk and the news breaking.
Yep.
All right. Another great episode. Monday's show was produced by Rachel. So Rachel gets credit for today. Rachel reporting. Great job.
Great job.
Tomorrow, everybody.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.